My sister ruined my relationship because she couldn't have the man she wanted, so I made her watch him fall for me instead. So my little sister Mia, who just turned 21, has had the same excuse for ages. She's like, since I can't be with my one true love, it's totally okay for me to ruin everyone else's happiness. And trust me, it's not in that cute I'm still obsessed with my ex way. It's more like, if you're happy, she's going to find a way to mess it up, and then blame it all on her tragic love story with her one true love Ethan, this guy she hooked up with at a college party 4 years ago. They slept together once, and he ghosted her, but somehow that became her reason for being a total nightmare. It all started with her childhood bestie Jess. Mia crashed at Jess's place one weekend, and by Monday Jess's boyfriend was all over Mia with good morning texts. When Jess caught them together in her own bed, Mia had the nerve to say, "You don't get what it's like to lose your soulmate." Jess was done with her after that. Then, at our cousin's engagement party, Mia rolled in wearing a dress that cost more than my rent, got wasted on wine, and cornered the groom in the bathroom. He later said she kept claiming he reminded her of someone special. Thank God he ditched her and told his fiancé right away. But Mia, she bawled to our parents about how seeing happy couples triggered her heartbreak. Mom ended up sending her on a spa weekend to heal. By the time I met Ryan, I knew the deal. I kept him far from family gatherings, scrubbed Mia from my socials, and told him my sister was dealing with stuff and needed space. It worked for 2 years. We got engaged last spring and planned a small, no-frills ceremony with just close friends. My mistake? Mentioning it at Mom's birthday dinner. Mia's eyes lit up like it was Christmas. She hugged me all, "I'm so happy for you. When do I get to meet him?" A week later, Ryan showed me messages from a fake account Mia used to contact him on Instagram. We laughed at how desperate she was, and he promised to block her. Then, 3 weeks before the wedding, I got hit with a nasty flu. Ryan was supposed to be at his brother's golf thing, but my friend called to tell me she'd spotted his Tesla in Mia's apartment visitor parking. I drove over, fever and all, using the spare key Mia gave me for emergencies. I found them on her couch, half-dressed, his hand in her hair. She whispered, "I'm sorry. He just reminds me of Ethan," and I stormed out. Ryan didn't even fight for us. That's when I decided Mia needed to know how losing really feels. Turns out, Ethan wasn't some mystery guy. We'd been following each other on Instagram for 3 years. We had mutual friends from college, liked each other's posts occasionally, but never really talked. He lived 3 hours away, worked as a physical therapist, and always posted about his golden retriever. So, I hit him up with a message like, "Hey, this is weird, but my sister had a thing for you in college and just wrecked my wedding. Want to help me get back at her?" He replied in 12 minutes, "Mia, the girl who showed up at my mom's house. I'm in." Turns out, she'd gone to his hometown, introduced herself to his mom like they were old friends, and made up this story about being soulmates cruelly separated. His mom even believed it, took selfies with her, and posted about her future daughter-in-law. Ethan sent me everything, screenshots, videos, even audio of his mom saying, "She seemed so sincere, dear. I'm sorry if I caused problems." That's when I knew Mia would never quit. She doesn't love, she possesses. What she can't have, she destroys. But this time, she didn't count on me being done with her crap, or Ethan being game to play along. We planned the whole thing. He'd join me the weekend of a big family lunch. I hadn't talked to Mia since the Ryan incident, but she would be there because it was Dad's birthday. Nobody skips those. And me? I'd show up with Ethan, hand in hand, laughing and acting like we were the perfect couple. I picked up Ethan from the bus station, and wow, he was even more charming in real life, funny, laid back, the kind of guy who lights up a room effortlessly, the type Mia could never control, and he knew it. We practiced our lines, synchronized our gestures, and at 1 p.m. on Saturday, we pulled up to my parents' house. I walked in wearing a killer dress, heels, and a big smile. Ethan held my hand like we'd been together forever. Mia was in the living room, laughing it up. When she saw us, her face dropped. I was like, "Hey everyone, this is Ethan." The name hit her like a ton of bricks. She went pale, then red, awkwardly laughed. "Wow, what a coincidence." Ethan was all polite. "Hi Mia, good to see you again." That wiped any fake control she had left. She mumbled something, but I sat down with Ethan, and we took photos, posted stories, every move a hit to her ego. During lunch, she tried bringing up old college memories with Ethan that never happened. But Ethan kept his eyes on me, called me love, put his arm around me. Every "I love you" was like nails on a chalkboard for her. After the birthday toast, she couldn't handle it anymore and locked herself in the bathroom. I followed her, knocked until she opened the door, looking like a mess. "What do you want now?" she asked, mascara smudged and desperate. "Just checking if you're okay," I replied, fake sweet. "Mit, ust suck to see your soulmate with your sister, huh?" "You're just doing this to hurt me," she cried. "And you destroyed my engagement just because you couldn't stand to see me happy, so no, Mia, this is fair." "He was mine," she yelled, punching the wall. "I saw him first. I loved him first." "No, Mia, you saw him once and he never wanted you. You dreamed up this love story and used it to justify being a monster to everyone. Now you're going to watch him love me because, unlike you, I didn't have to beg." She crumpled to the floor, sobbing. Mom knocked, asking if everything was okay. I walked out, head high, back to the living room where Ethan kissed my forehead and whispered, "She'll lose it even more. Ready for this?" I grinned. Never been more ready. By the next day, the fallout was obvious. Mom called, asking for empathy because Mia was a mess. I couldn't believe it. Provoking? Me showing up with my boyfriend is provoking? Or is it that Mia can't handle not being the center of attention? I laughed bitterly. "You're worried about her feelings? She slept with my fiancé. She ruined my wedding. I was sick and alone while she was all over him on her couch, reminiscing about Ethan. Sorry, but no way am I flipping this." Mom sighed like I was the problem. "Your sister has a sensitive heart. She gets attached easily." "Sensitive?" I snapped. "She slept with my fiancé. She wrecked my wedding, and you're worried about her? You know what? Let's talk another time." And I hung up. That's when I realized no one was going to stand up for me. The family treats Mia like she's fragile, but they forget she has claws. She'd always had this sharp side to her, but now those claws were directed at herself. On Monday, Ethan was still hanging around town, so I thought it would be a fun idea to introduce him to some of my friends over brunch. Those friends who were in the loop about all of Mia's high school antics. Ethan was the star of the show, polite, gentle, and totally devoted to me. The girls couldn't help but exchange looks, clearly smitten. I caught some of them whispering things like, "This is the sweetest revenge." But the real highlight came that afternoon. Ethan posted this adorable photo of us on Instagram, just the two of us cuddled up in the park. The caption was simple but sweet. "Sometimes love shows up when you least expect it." It started with a few chill comments from a cousin and an old classmate, plus the usual heart emojis. But then Mia made her entrance. With the username Camilla Soulmate, she commented, "This is disgusting. You know what he means to me." Ethan liked her comment and calmly shot back, "We hooked up once, Mia. Once. And you followed me down the street the next day. That's not love. It's obsession." Boom. In no time, the post was buzzing in our social circles. People who'd known Mia since back in the day started chiming in, saying stuff like, "Finally, someone said it. I always thought the way she talked about him was weird. Karma's real." Mia didn't say anything on the post, but my WhatsApp was blowing up with voice messages from her, a mix of crying, yelling, and accusing me of using Ethan against her. One of her messages ended with, "You're ruining my life for revenge." I just texted back, "Nope, I'm just showing how to pick yourself up after being knocked down. Something you never learned." And just like that, I blocked her. But I wasn't done yet. I knew Mia wouldn't drop it so easily. On Thursday night, I got a notification. Mia had posted on Instagram a selfie with puffy, tear-filled eyes in dim lighting and the caption, "It's painful when your sister steals the man you love, laughs at your suffering, and gets cheered for it. I'm not perfect, but nobody deserves this." It got over 1,000 likes, with comments saying, "Hang in there," and "You'll get through this." The worst part? A few people close to me shared it. The next day, I headed to my parents' place. Mom seemed surprised when she opened the door. "What are you doing here?" I needed to talk. Dad was chilling in the living room, and Mia came downstairs looking like she was attending a funeral. Sweatpants, hair tied back, playing the victim card. "Did something happen?" she asked, almost sweetly. "Yeah, something did happen," I shot back. "Enough of you fooling everyone and acting like you're the innocent one." I stood in the middle of the living room, addressing both of them. "Mom, Dad, did you see the post? Do you really think it's fair? Remember who ruined whose engagement?" "Honey, this isn't how you handle it," Mom started. "No, now it's your turn to listen," I interrupted, turning to Mia. "You went after Ryan, backstabbed me, then said sorry with fake tears, and continued being the family princess. But now the tables have turned. You're the one crying, and no one will bail you out this time. No sad post can erase the screenshots, the voice messages, the evidence. Everyone sees your true colors now, Mia." She stayed silent, tears streaming down her face. Dad looked down, clearly distressed. "I'm done being the forgotten daughter while you parade around like a soap opera star. Enough. I'm taking the stage now, and the audience is on my side." I walked out without waiting for a response. In the car, Ethan was in the driver's seat, the radio playing softly, a coffee in my cup holder. "How did it go?" he asked. "Beautiful," I replied. "She finally realized she doesn't have the upper hand anymore." He smiled, and I added, "You know, getting back at her was more therapeutic than I anticipated." "Yeah, and guess what?" I teased. "What?" he asked. "Part 2 is still on its way." Part 2 kicked off with an invitation to the opening of my friend Andre's new restaurant. He's a big deal around here, with lots of influencers and media coverage. Mia's all over these types of events, always pretending to live this glamorous life. She'd pose for photos in boutique dressing rooms as if she owned the clothes, and order fancy food just to get the perfect shot, then return it. It was all about appearances. But this time, she wasn't on the guest list. I was, and so was Ethan. We arrived in style. The photographer at the entrance snapped photos of us, and one even ended up on a popular local event page with the caption, "Couple of the Moment. Melissa and Ethan steal the spotlight at the opening night." Mia saw it the next day and, predictably, posted a subtle jab on her stories. Some people need the spotlight to feel alive. I prefer depth. Depth. From someone who threw herself at my fiancé's feet a few weeks before our wedding and now cries online because the guy she barely knew is my boyfriend. The next big event was our cousin Amanda's wedding. Mia and Amanda were pretty tight, so Mia probably hoped Amanda would smooth things over and ask me to leave Ethan at home. But Amanda personally called me, saying, "Mel, please come and bring him. Everyone knows the truth, and I'm done pretending with Mia. She needs to learn the world doesn't revolve around her." Mia showed up solo, squeezed into a too-tight dress, makeup on, point, with a plastic smile, acting like she didn't see us when we arrived. Ethan wrapped his arm around my waist, occasionally kissing my cheek, and all Mia could do was watch. The moment that made the night was during the bride and groom's dance. Amanda subtly invited us to dance with them. Ethan and I were in the middle, slowly twirling, when Mia approached, looking like she thought she was irresistible. "Ethan, can I talk to you?" she asked. He let go of my hand, looked her in the eye, and calmly said, "No, I'm busy loving your sister." Mia froze, and I took a moment, looked at her, and added, "For the first time in years, I'm being truly loved. Something you'd never get because you confuse attention with love." She stumbled back, tripping over her dress, tears in her eyes. Nobody laughed. It was worse. Everyone ignored her. That cut deeper. She left the room shortly after, and I kept dancing, feeling like I'd truly won for the first time in ages. But my favorite moment was yet to come. A few weeks later, I was invited to a podcast about overcoming challenges and new beginnings. I didn't use names, but I shared the story. The tale of a narcissistic sister, an unfaithful fiancé, calculated revenge, and, of course, unexpected love. The episode went viral. People from all over the country were reaching out, congratulating me, saying they related to my story. Mia listened. I know because she DM'd me the same day. "Do you really have to put yourself out there like that just for attention?" she asked. I immediately responded, "It's not about attention, it's about freedom. I spent years in your play. Now it's my story, and I'm taking the stage." She didn't answer back. Over the next few days, I heard through the grapevine that Mia was becoming a recluse. Brands she was trying to collaborate with stopped talking to her. People began discussing her obsession with Ethan. The reputation she fought to build with filters and rehearsed lines began to crumble. And it wasn't me who knocked it down. She did that all on her own. Meanwhile, I moved forward. Ethan was no longer just a part of my revenge plot. Somewhere along the chaos, he became my safe haven. A safe haven that disguised itself as an ally, but has now become a genuine companion. Each day that passed, I realized what Mia tried to destroy only made me stronger. And Mia, who always tried to win with manipulation, now only had the silence for company. The first time I noticed I wasn't thinking about Ryan anymore was on a regular morning, weeks after Amanda's wedding. We were at my place, sunlight gently streaming through the window, and Ethan was in the kitchen, shirtless, making pancakes like he'd done since week 1. As he hummed a tune from the 2000s and did little goofy dances, I realized something big had changed. So, there I was, laughing at the realization that Ryan had become nothing more than a faded memory for me. It wasn't about getting back at him anymore. It was because Ethan was there holding my hand for no reason and sincerely listening to my childhood stories, even though he knew them by heart. It was the way he looked at me while I was reading on the couch, as if that was all he ever needed. I never saw this coming. When I impulsively dragged him into my plan to mess with my sister's fantasy, I thought it would be a short-lived thing until Mia backed off and I felt some sort of vindication. But man, was I wrong. Ethan became my everyday comfort, my rock. He got to know my friends, fit right into my work life, and started leaving little things like toothbrushes and t-shirts at my place. When my car broke down, he was the first one there with coffee and a tow truck. And when I was freaking out before a big presentation, he just sat with me on the kitchen floor, holding my hand until I could breathe again. Ryan? He didn't even cross my mind. What was once a big deal felt so insignificant now because Ethan was here, right in the moment with me. One night, as we sat in a cozy new restaurant that wasn't anything fancy but had good vibes and food, Ethan held my hand and casually said, "You know what's funny? We started this to mess with your sister, but I never faked any of it." I was quiet for a moment, my heart pounding, and then I said with a shy smile, "I'm not pretending either." He chuckled and raised his wine glass, saying, To the best revenge, then. I corrected him. No, to what comes after. We toasted, and for the first time in ages, I felt peace. No resentment, no ghosts, no need for validation. It was just me and him. A few days later, while wandering downtown, I spotted Ryan. He looked weighed down by the world. Instinctively, I turned away, not out of pain, but because he just didn't matter anymore. He almost approached, but when he saw Ethan coming over to take my hand, he backed off. Maybe he finally realized there was no room for him anymore. The spot he filled with lies was now Ethan's, who, without promising anything, had given me everything. That night, I hugged Ethan tighter and whispered, "Thanks for showing up." He smiled at me in that calm way that said everything without a word. Turns out, revenge brought me justice, but the afterward brought me love. Months later, what began as a cheeky response to my sister's schemes turned into the sweetest chapter of my life. Ethan stopped being just a pawn in this game. He became my home, my partner, in every laugh and quiet moment. We were practically living together, sometimes at my place, sometimes at his, where his golden retriever insisted on squishing between us like a furry little guardian. He officially asked me to be his girlfriend one chill evening on the couch while we munched on pizza straight from the box, watching a goofy documentary about marine life. "Is it too early or too late for this?" he joked. I laughed and told him, "It's just a label, but yes, I want to be." And so that was that. We stopped talking about Mia. She faded from our conversations, social media, and messages. She even blocked Ethan on everything, claiming I had stolen the love of her life. She conveniently ignored the fact that she wrecked my wedding. But you know what? I didn't care anymore. I thought I would care. I thought I would crave that apology that never came. But letting go of the need for Mia's approval was the greatest freedom that whole chaos gave me. She didn't forgive me, didn't show up for my birthday, ignored my mom's texts about Christmas. She kept her distance, and I moved on. Ethan and I took trips, met his mom officially, helped him paint his new clinic, and learned to handle his crazy dog. We built a life together that felt light and genuine, no masks or games. One day, we were lounging in a hammock, just soaking in the sounds of nature, when he asked, "Do you still think all this was just revenge?" I thought for a bit and then smiled at him. Maybe it started that way, but it's turned into the best thing I ever did for myself. He kissed my forehead, and we stayed like that, peaceful. Revenge had turned into love, and, ironically, that probably stung Mia the most. She always needed to be the center of attention, the most beautiful, the most desired. But away from her stage, I found what she spent her life pretending to have. I was never the family star, but I learned to turn pain into strength, rejection into freedom, and revenge into love. That's something no one can take from me. 6 months later, when I thought all the drama was behind me, I got a surprise call from Ryan. I ignored the first 2 calls, but on the third, Ethan was by my side and simply said, "Answer. You need closure." So I picked up. "Melissa," Ryan's voice was tired, defeated. "Can I talk to you in person?" I almost hung up, but Ethan was right. There was unfinished business. We met at a neutral cafe, far from any shared memories. He looked rough, like he'd aged years in months. "Thanks for coming," he mumbled. "What do you want, Ryan?" I asked. He sighed. "I wanted to apologize and explain." "Explain what? That you were with my sister 3 weeks before our wedding?" I shot back. "It wasn't like that," he said weakly. "She came to me when you were sick, said she had to talk about you, that there were things I needed to know. She twisted everything, said you had ruined some girl's life and were manipulative. She showed me stuff, old messages taken out of context. He finally met my eyes. I got scared. And that's why you slept with her?" I challenged. "No." He shook his head vigorously. "She confessed feelings, Said she'd be there if I backed out of the wedding. I was confused and drinking, but none of that excuses what I did. Tears welled up in his eyes. I realized too late that she lied and manipulated me, and I ruined the best thing in my life because of it. I stayed silent for a while, then said, "You know what hurts the most, Ryan? It's not what you did, but that you didn't trust me. After 2 years together, her lies were enough to sway you." So there I was, facing him, and it felt like I was finally more myself than I had been in ages. He looked down, avoiding my eyes. "I tried calling you like 1,000,000 times after everything happened. I even showed up at your place, but it was like you vanished. Then I stumbled upon those pics with you and him, and it just hit me. It was too late," he went on. "Honestly, it was over the second you touched her hair," I shot back, getting to my feet. "But hey, thanks for clearing things up. It just confirms I made the right call." He gave me one last look. "Are you, happy with him?" For the first time in that gloomy chat, a smile broke out on my face. "Happier than I ever thought possible," I said, leaving without a trace of bitterness, just a strong feeling that closing certain chapters opens new ones. Talking with my family was trickier. 3 months passed before my mom rang me up, wanting to chat. She suggested we grab lunch, just us. She looked different, older, a bit weary. Her eyes had gathered more wrinkles. "How have you been?" she asked, a bit unsure. "I'm good, Mom. Really good. Ethan, too. We're doing great." She fidgeted with her napkin before finally speaking up. "I owe you an apology. For all those years I didn't see things clearly." Instantly my chest tightened a bit. "Mom, you don't have to boss. Let me finish," she interrupted, looking me straight in the eyes for the first time. "I always knew Mia was a handful, but I thought more attention would change her. In that process, I neglected you. I left you to navigate the MECs on your own." Tears streamed down my face. "After you confronted us, everything started clicking for me. The friends Mia lost, the disappearing boyfriends, all the contradictory stories. I realized you and Mia told very different stories, and I always took hers at face value." "Why?" I asked, my voice a bit shaky. "Because she cried louder," Mom confessed, her voice breaking too. "You always seemed stronger, like you didn't need support, and I mistook that for independence." We sat there quietly for a bit. "And Mia?" I asked. "She moved out of state. She's in therapy, says she needs a clean slate. She asked me to tell you she knows she messed up, but isn't ready to apologize yet. And I'm not ready to forgive," I admitted. "Maybe one day, but not now." "I get it," she said, reaching across the table to hold my hand. "Can I be a better mom to you?" I squeezed her hand back. "We can work on being a better family, but it'll take time." She smiled with teary eyes. "I've got all the time in the world." A few weeks after that, my dad showed up at my place without a heads up, holding flowers and looking unsure. "Can I come in?" he asked, almost shyly. "Of course, Dad." Ethan was in the kitchen, and he greeted my dad politely, giving us space to talk. "I like him," my dad said bluntly. "Seems like a good guy." "He is. I'm here because your mom said you two talked, and it hit me that I never apologized to you. My dad isn't really the type to talk much, so this was unexpected." "I always knew Mia was challenging," he went on, "but I thought it was something for your mom to handle. But really, you both suffered, especially you." "Dad, no. Let me finish, please," he said, sitting on the arm of the couch. "I didn't protect you. I didn't educate her. I didn't teach you that sisters should lift each other up, not tear each other down." A lump formed in my throat. "Your mom told me about Ryan, what she did to you. If it were me, I might not forgive, but you? You turned that pain into something good, and I'm proud of you for that." His words were what I'd always longed to hear. "Thanks, Dad." Do you think there's still time for me to be a better father? I smiled, tears in my eyes. There's always time. That night, I told Ethan everything. He listened quietly, just holding my hand. How do you feel? He asked once I finished. Free, I said, surprising even myself. For the first time? Truly free. And Mia? I paused, thinking it over. I hope she finds her peace, just somewhere away from me, but I do hope she finds it. He smiled and kissed my forehead. You're amazing, you know that? We're amazing, I corrected him. And it was true. At the end of it all, it wasn't just about winning against Mia or getting back at her. It was about realizing I deserve real love, to be defended and respected. It was about recognizing that family isn't just about blood, but about who chooses to be by your side. To find the love of your life, sometimes you've got to stop settling for scraps from those who never really appreciated you. Now, waking up next to Ethan with our dog curled up at our feet, I know all those tough times were worth it. They brought me here to this peace and to us.